While Andrew Bridgen, who was suspended earlier this week as a Tory MP, went on the Reclaim Party's platform to release a statement. And we ask, does that mean he could be defecting from the Tories? Okay, so this case with Andrew Bridgen is escalating, apparently, because the Tory whips, they removed the whip from him over his tweets about Pfizer, but it was because out of context, mentioning the 1940s Germany and everything else. But the whole situation happened. He has now been suspended temporarily, but he went on the Reclaim Party's platform and Lawrence Fox to release this statement. Let's watch the statement first, then, because I've got a few questions.
I'm disappointed that the Chief Whip Simon Hart, with the support of the Prime Minister, has chosen to suspend me as a member of the Conservative Parliamentary Party. My tweet of 11th of January was in no way anti-Semitic. Indeed, it alluded to the Holocaust being the most heinous crime against humanity in living memory. Of course, if anyone is genuinely offended by my use of such imagery, then I apologise for any offence caused. I wholeheartedly refute any suggestions that I am racist, and currently I'm speaking to a legal team who will commence action against those who have led the calls suggesting that I am. Indeed, the Israeli doctor I quoted in my tweet has stated that there was nothing at all anti-Semitic about the statement. The fact that I have been suspended over this matter says much about the current state of our democracy, the right to free speech, and the apparent suspension of the scientific method of analysis of medicines being administered to billions of people. As I've consistently maintained, there are very reasonable questions to be asked about the safety and effectiveness of the experimental mRNA vaccines and the risks and benefits of these treatments. There are reasonable questions to ask of a government that is considering extending the use of these experimental vaccines to children as young as 6 months of age. These, ladies and gentlemen, are babies. There are reasonable questions about the side effects of mRNA vaccines, especially when we know categorically that the current risk of harm to most of the population, and especially young people, from COVID-19 is minuscule. We have a government who indemnifies manufacturers from claims against the harms caused by their products, and a government who, it appears, actively look to remove MPs who raise questions about those harms. I was saddened to hear yesterday of my suspension, but I'm not downhearted. I've received huge support from ordinary people, medical workers who are too intimidated to speak out, and of course from those who've experienced vaccine harms themselves or to a loved one. Hopefully, the media interest around my suspension will finally get the issue of vaccine harms into the media, who have been so reluctant to cover this issue for so long, an issue which is clearly of huge and growing concern to many people across the globe. Reasonable questions about the safety and effectiveness of vaccines must continue to be asked, and I will continue to ask them. If I cannot do that as a Conservative Member of Parliament, then so be it. Highlighting these important questions, questions about life, death, serious injury, must override party loyalty. I owe that not only to my constituents in North West Leicestershire, but also to the wider British public, and especially to our children and young people, who are the very future of our great nation. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Okay, so the interesting thing about what Andrew Bridgen said was at the end, when he mentioned that if I can't express my opinions or do what I want to do as a Tory member, then so be it. So that is clear indication that he is more than willing to no longer be a Tory. Fair enough. But what next? Because he can easily, it's more likely that the best case scenario for him until the next election is to become an independent MP. But if he's actually thinking about defecting to any party, the fact that that video was posted by the Reclaim Party and their platform, it makes you think, because I know Lawrence Fox. Lawrence Fox is a good friend of mine, who's the leader of Reclaim. But Reclaim Party are not an actual serious political party. They don't really have any plans to stand in the next general election. They might stand in a couple of seats, but it's not there. They don't campaign. They don't knock on doors, local constituencies, to actually hear people's concerns. It's mostly a social media platform anyway, and it's fair enough. And they use that for a lot of good national campaigns and peer pressure, counter peer pressure campaigns to fight against establishment. So it makes you think, is he actually going to be joining Reclaim? Well, could that actually create something out of Reclaim or not? Because this is the current system that we have in this country. Now, let me know what you guys think of this whole situation. On my Tousi, and we are the media.